so welcome to another episode of the SkyoöD-Vu P.O.V show. Yeah, it's kind of cold out here as well. I'm all bundled up. Not really looking forward to working in this windy weather, but it's something I've been putting off for a while, so I want to get it done. A lot of work been going on the A6, but it seems like every time I make a step forward, it makes another step back. So came out of the shop with some repairs done to, so the last shop I had it at, or previous to last shop, not the one that's coming up. Very confusing. Basically I had the A6 at the at a shop here locally, and had them install exhaust gas temperature sensors, simply because I just don't have a lift. I don't have a garage to work in, and I'm just not, I'm not really a shade tree mechanic. I'm mechanically inclined to sort of some things I want to tackle, and some things I just too scared to tackle if I don't have the right tools or the time or place to work in, at least to get out of the wind. Cold is not so bad, but the wind is driving me nuts in the wet. So they came back and they said, oh yeah, you've got a problem on suspension. So the problem with the car that they diagnosed after they had replaced the exhaust gas temperature, and then told me the ones that I'd ordered from eBay in the States weren't working, which I don't understand right now, because I've driven the car a little bit and the engine management light isn't coming on, so I don't know where the problem lies. So maybe I haven't pushed the car hard enough for long enough to get the heat up on it. So that remains to be seen. If that is the case, that's it. I'm done. I'm just going to go ahead and get some, I found on eBay a override kit, basically, that's going to tell the car, the ECU, that it's okay, that you don't need to fix that. So, but that's a subject for another time. So anyways, tie rod end issue. So I went to another shop that had been recommended to me, and they said verified yes. It was great because they actually called me the next day to verify exactly what needed to be done, how much parts were going to cost, if I should go ahead to it. That's more communication than I had with the other shop on 5 previous visits, which, that gave me a good feeling. So, and there was a shutter when I braked. So got it back from the shop, fixed, hit the brakes, it shuttered again. Now, of course, I didn't discuss that with those guys at the shop, so I'm not going to blame them. That's not their fault. I have a buddy of mine, the guy who installed the engine for me. I'm going to have him test drive the car tonight, and then hopefully I'll have an update on what we're gonna how that's going to fix. So what we're going to do today is a little bit of a tech tip video, and what I'm looking to do is replace the mirror cap that was already done by my buddy, the mechanic who installed the engine, but I want to tackle this myself, and I looked online, and I don't find anything specific to this car, so hopefully I'll be able to do it without breaking anything, and then I will post it so at least the people who have the same car will have not have an issue trying to find hopefully a decent video guide on how to do it. So what it is we want to take that cap off, replace it with this style cap. Don't know why this doesn't come off. I hit it with the glue gun pretty good. It's hard to see here in this light. It's tape residue. This is the cap that's going to go on it. Looks really good. It feels like a real quality piece, I gotta say. When the driver's side was done, it clipped right on with no issues. So I don't foresee any problem there. My biggest concern is going to be the breaking of the mirror glass when I try to replace this. So this is where it gets scary. I'm really worried about breaking the mirror. Fortunately, I've got some good tools. This is a trim removal tool I've been using in my other car. I gotta go with the ums and ums again, terrible. Anyways, in the other videos I did find online, mainly they were talking about removing the entire housing. Actually, not the housing, they're talking about removing the mirror actually from the side of the door. And that's why I decided to do this video, to show you guys if that's not necessary to want to do. Either just want to remove that mirror, or you want to remove the cap. Having some trim tools like that is really, really helpful. I got mine from Amazon. Entire kit for interior and exterior trim. Should work pretty much any car on it. I think it costs about $20 on Amazon. The link is down and going to be down the bottom of the description here. So if you're looking at, I'm not affiliated with Amazon, although I do order a lot from stuff, so I don't see any money from them yet. It'd be nice if I could figure out some way to do that, but of course I don't have enough subscribers watching this channel yet, so maybe in due time. So I went and had to go get my needle nose pliers out to pull this off. These are well and good corroded onto the tabs, and those two little red or pink plastic tabs are basically the tabs that run the heat for the wire through the mirror, so the mirrors are defrosted in the wintertime. I think I've had those needle nose pliers well over 20 years. They've been absolute lifesavers. Find yourself a good set of needle nose pliers. They have helped me out so often in interior projects in the house, projects on my car stereo. Of course, back in the day, I used to sell Kenwood car stereos, or Kenwood electronics in general, home and car audio entertainment systems in the military market, and I also was responsible for maintaining a ton of the
broke a tab
yep,
off.
there you
Awesome.
see I broke the tab off, one of the plastic tabs. That is the tab for the connector that actually sends power to the motor for the mirror. Yeah, as I was saying, so those needle nose pliers came in help. There you go. See on the right hand side there, the tab broke off, but on the left of the tab there, you can also see the little holder in place. Later on, when I put the mirror back in, you'll notice before I pop it in, I realized that you need to go ahead and connect that so the wires don't bind up once the mirror's in place again. So for the life of me, I couldn't remember having to have removed those screws, but since the housing wasn't budging, I said go ahead. Now this outer screw, I was looking like I was almost going to strip the head on it, Phillips head. So I backed off and went and got some WD-40 and sprayed that in there to loosen everything up a little bit. Yeah, checking through the work mirror or work light. The bottom lip there I'm pulling on, that actually popped out pretty good. If I had to do this all over again, if I had a heat gun, it's something I think I'm going to invest in. See if I can find a cheap one. I wish we had like a Harbor Freight over here like you guys do in the States. That would be awesome. But I think a Harbor Freight style inexpensive heat gun would do wonders if you would hit all the plastic areas with some heat to let the plastic become a little more pliable, and you'd minimize, I think, plastic tabs from tearing off. So that might be a tip for you guys to consider. So out comes the trim removal tool again, trying to wedge back and forth, trying to basically shimmy and coax this thing from popping off. Very, very windy out there today. I noticed all the spikes in the microphone making noise. And I apologize in some of the outdoor, at the intro part where I'm speaking. If you didn't understand what I'm saying, I apologize for that. It's just I'm a little self-conscious talking to myself or into the camera rather than having people think, well, A, who is he filming, or why is he filming himself, or why is he talking to himself? And I always have neighbors walking by. It's a residential area, so people always walking by headed to the fields to the west of me, taking their dogs on a walk or taking their kids out for a walk. So I always feel a little self-conscious about yapping to myself when I record this stuff outside. That would be another bonus of having a garage. I could then speak at a decent volume and not worry about who's walking by and thinking, well, what in blazes is he doing? Yeah, this cap is just really not being cooperative. And I'm trying to be careful not to snap anything. My biggest fear is snapping something that's going to break and then nothing will go back together again. So I've given it the WD-40 time to soak in, and with the extended screwdriver to give me a little more torque, and then I was able to put a little pressure on the head. Out the screw came perfectly, no problem. Of course, it's not going to resolve anything. And you can see here, it's going to break there. Yeah, there it goes, broken. isn't that cute? That snapped off. So at this point, I guess I'm so fed up that it's time to apply some brute force, and I'm going to pay a price for that. Later on this video, I'll give you a little bit more explanation of what happened there. Yeah, that's where brute force will get you. That tab broke. Anything awesome. Of course, since I'm not reusing this housing, it's not that big of a deal. Just be nice if it wouldn't break, and maybe I could have sold it on eBay to somebody and gotten at least 2 or 3 cents back for it. So it says I don't need that screw, which in reality, those 2 screws that I undid actually are screws that hold the motor to the bottom bracket of the mirror. And if you know anything about metallurgy, terrible pronunciation, chemistry, basically, once metal with metal makes contact, it immediately starts to corrode. I learned that in audio days. Here's a quick tip. If you got a home stereo, every once in a while go in the back and twist those RCAs, undo the speaker cables, and reconnect them again because you got corrosion there. And that's going to help the signal strength get better. And I wanted to make sure that the mirrors got all the heat they possibly get. So first I scraped with this little mini screwdriver. Then I wisened up and went back in the garage and dug out some sandpaper. There you go. Nice and clean. Oh, not perfect. Wish I had that contact sprayed on there to help though. So now here we go to the matte polished aluminum. That's what it was called, translated from German. That was kind of an exclusive design for the RS6. I do like the RS6 look. I wish I had the RS6 fenders. I wish I had that RS6 engine. Heck, I wish this was an RS6. I would be keeping it. I would not be selling it. But I'm trying to get this car back somewhat in shape so that the next owner might have some enjoyment out of it, and maybe I'll make a buck. At this point, I've invested so much money in the car. Be lucky if I break even. So going on turns out to be not as easy as I thought it would be. Yeah, the banging is really not getting it anywhere. The problem here is that that screw is left still in there. So there's a screw tucked in right above, well, really hard for me to point out. You see that loop of wires coming from the left and going to the right. Right back behind there is a screw still in place, and a little plastic nubbin that tore off the original housing is in the way. So that's preventing this casing, this cap, from going back into the place where it needs to go. Also, the wires keep falling out of place or in my way, and a couple of times I almost bound them up and realized I was making mistakes. At some point here, I'm going to remember, hey, I'm going to have to figure out a way to tuck these things away so they don't get in my way and I don't damage them. There we go. Like that in there. Those out of the way. And at this point I'm also like looking at how nasty it is inside there. The dead spiders. Well, one dead spider carcass. Not sure if that was him flying out. Don't know how much this cleaning is doing.